Welcome, welcome. Yeah, Carpool Seoul Korea. Yes, I'm an English interpreter and a language teacher, and my English name is Lincoln. And I'm very proud of you. It is a great honor to be the global audience by our YouTube, and I'm very thankful our YouTuber, Mr. Gong. And let me introduce myself. Just until 4 times I interpreted our story. So it is my private story how I started learning the English from my middle school days. My hometown is Kunsan, and I'm 60 something. So many people say 60 something, the old guy over the hill, but I'm not. I'm so young. I have another 60 years to go, like Moses from the Bible. Moses lived over 120 years. But now, even now, our generation can enjoy that kind of long life, longevity. I think it is a blessing. And we are recording our story here, SIBC, Seoul International Baptist Church. It is a wonderful place to meet or get connected with good peoples and get connected with God. So we pray for this place prosper in the future. For a long years, many American GIs, soldiers came here to give worship to God. This morning, it is a great blessing for us to be connected with them to say good things with the people. And our church has over 25 nationals, different people come here to worship together, including Koreans. Also, in my middle school days, I was very poor, like our generation. During the Korean War, I was born in 1951. So we started from nothing, from scratch. We were very poor. We just survived. But in my middle school days, my mom was couldn't read the Korean language, but she worked very hard for me, for my family. So I was determined to study very hard. So I had only textbook, no reference books. But I was very happy because my mom moved to Kunsan City. So at that time, so many years ago, I met the foreigners, English-speaking people on the street, because next to the Kunsan City, there was a U.S. Air Base. Also, even now, yeah. So it was a great blessing. Way back to the times, I met the foreigners on the street. So I got the motivation. If I learn the language from them, my life will be changed and transformed. That's the language power. In my younger years, I determined myself to practice English and to learn English, even if my circumstances did not permit that. But I know English changed my life, and I entered Kunsan Commercial High School. During that time, because of the American government Peace Corps idea, one Yale University graduate student came to our high school to teach English. That changed my life. He advised me. Thousands of people learned English from him, but me only listened to his idea. Learn how to read the English newspapers. At the time, Korea Herald and the Korea Times. But in my Kunsan area, no, I cannot subscribe that newspapers. So we ordered the agency in Jeonju, provincial capital city, Jeonju, next city. So I ordered that newspapers from that time, from my high school days, the first grade. So many years ago, I started reading the business news from the newspapers. Also, that idea changed my life. In my high school days, nobody imagined to read the English newspapers in my hometown. Me only, I think. So I had the money to subscribe the English newspapers from Jeonju. So one day, the one employee in Jeonju, he came to my home, and we had no home at that time. My mother worked for rich family, and I worked for that family, and I taught the youngsters there. And I didn't pay the money for subscribing the English newspaper. And one man came from Jeonju who read the English newspaper without money. So I said, I described, explained my situation. I was so poor, but I have no money. But my American English teacher advised me to read the English newspaper. So it is a very sad story, and he was moved by my story, and he permitted me to read the English newspaper for 3 years for free. Amen. It is a blessing. He provided me to read the English newspaper from my high school days for 3 years, and I entered the bank. Wow, it is a blessing. That changed my life. My mother was very poor, and she worked 24 hours, 7 days a week. And I rewarded her by entering the bank. It changed my life. So I bought a small home in Seoul, and I brought my mom from Kunsan to Seoul City. It is a miracle, I think, from my hometown, not Kunsan. It is a very remote area of Honam Pyongyang. It was a breastbasket for. So Kunsan city prospered because the Japanese people brought our rice to Japan during the colonial years. So I think nowadays, connected the dot and looking back at my life, English changed my life. Also, the English newspaper changed my life. The American teacher changed my life. So I recommend you, meeting new people is a new beginning. It's very important. Meet new people and transformed by their advice. That's the start of a new life. So after graduating Kunsan Commercial High School, I started my first career with the 중소기업은행. So I recorded third place when entering the bank for high school students. So about 1.5 hours working there, I was to fulfill the military duty for the 3 years. And at the military also, I never give up studying the English. It is a military camp, but so many people enjoyed that smoking and drinking, but I never gave up continuing study English and learning the language and memorizing the vocabularies. So I never wasted my time. Under any circumstances, I continued my study until now. So after finishing the 3 years, the military duty, I came back to life. So I changed my career from the bank to the investment trust company. So another chance that came. Investment trust company was the number one highest salary from the financial. But so also another chance. So my English power changed my life. The Seoul National SNU or Korea or Yonsei University graduate students, they did not say English like me. So I was top position, maintained my language power, and they sent me to Wall Street to New York. Also, at the time, there was no Korean network in New York. They sent me to the Nomura and the Yamaichi Security, Japanese brokerage company. So I learned there Japanese language. I picked up another language there, the Japanese. At that time, the Japanese economy was becoming stronger every day. So they bought many buildings in New York to show off their great economic power. So I understood at that time, if I pick up another Japanese language, I will be very prosperous. Because the Japanese and the English quite different, and using the Chinese character, it is good for our brain. I understood at that time, and I understood how powerful the Japanese economy at that time. So I think that nowadays it is a great blessing. I can speak Japanese, I can speak English, and I continually reading the books and listening and reading the Japanese newspapers, Nihon Keizai Shimbun, Japanese Economic Daily, so New York Times. So reading the materials, reading the over 20,000 books in English and Japanese. And I get up at the age of 45, about 26 years ago, I retired early. So since that time, I've been with the business people, the small size, medium sized business people, not a big size business people. As a business coach and with the coaching staff, I have been updating all the time. I never waste any moment. And today I bring over almost 90 books in English and Japanese. I'm reading in transition. I'm reading in the subway. So I think that it is a great blessing. I have a good energy. I work out and exercise 2 or 3 times in a week. I meet the students all the time. It is a great blessing. So when I meet the youngsters and I volunteer teaching English at the military base, the Korean military officers, English change your life. I give a testimony, my story to them and encourage to them. So thank you for listening, for the global audience, nowadays so many Korean men have difficulty finding jobs. They complain all the time. But if you upgrade, if you more study in an effective way, reading the newspaper, listening the news, and stretching your vocabularies, that will guarantee your future life, and you will become a global player. Thank you for listening, and I will update how to read the books and how to select good books step by step. I will introduce in more detail in the later programs. Thank you for listening.